I am Fabiana Pierre-Louis. I am an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of New Jersey. And when I was nominated and sworn in 2020, I became the first Black woman to ever sit on the Supreme Court of New Jersey. I just really hope that I can be an inspiration to others, because for the first time in the history of New Jersey, young women of color can look to the highest court in this state and see someone that looks like them.
I and we have selected Fabiana after an extensive and exhaustive process. She has been described glowingly as both, and I'm quoting, superstar, and I quote again, a unique blend of intellect and humility.
I was sworn in on September 1st, 2020 in that Supreme Court courtroom.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
It was a remarkable feeling. My two boys, I'm sure they don't completely understand everything that I do. And just recently, my second grader came home and was telling me about some of the things he was learning in school about Black History Month. And as we talked about Ruth Bridges and Rosa Parks, he stopped and looked at me and said, "Well, Mommy, are you Black history?" And that question certainly was unexpected for me, but I looked at him and I said, "Yes, I am." I first became interested in law when I was a young girl. I really loved history, and the history of this country and the law go hand in hand. So that was something that really interested me. Growing up, I didn't know any lawyers. No one in my family was a lawyer. Both my parents are immigrants from Haiti. My father was a New York City cab driver. My mother worked as a hospital patient transporter. They really did not have much, but they made a significant amount of sacrifices in order to open opportunities for my future. I started out my career as a law clerk right here at the Supreme Court of New Jersey. And I clerked for Justice John Wallace, who was also an Associate Justice of the court. And I actually now sit in the same seat that he once occupied. After my clerkship, I went into private practice and worked at a law firm, Montgomery McCracken, Walker and Rhodes.
I had the privilege of working with her when she was at Montgomery McCracken as an associate, so right after law school. And Justice Pierre-Louis rather quickly established a reputation for being one of the best writers at the firm. She also was eventually promoted to be a partner at a law firm. And at law firms throughout the country, Black attorneys make up less than 2% of the partners that are at these organizations.
I've spent time in private practice as well as public service, being the first woman of color to head the Trenton and Camden offices at the U.S. Attorney's Office, and now being the first Black woman on the Supreme Court of New Jersey. I think that my experiences and my determination to put forth the best work possible is what carries me through a lot of those barrier-breaking moments.
Justice Pierre-Louis' confirmation to the New Jersey Supreme Court makes me feel seen. As a Black woman in the law school, I'm always reassuring myself that I belong here just as much as anyone else.
To say she is a role model to me and other Black law students would be an understatement.
She inspires the entire Rutgers law community. The students adore her. And I think it's not only important for students of color to see Justice Pierre-Louis on the court, I think it's important for all students, white students, male students, to see this woman in a position of leadership, because it helps to broaden their perceptions of what a leader looks like.
A teenager who was just shot multiple times coming out of surgery, the first thing that happens is that he's taken in the back of a police car to be questioned. Don't you think that factors into the determination of whether he thought he was in custody as a 17-year-old? We haven't had any court proceedings in the Supreme Court courtroom this year because of the pandemic, so all of the court's oral arguments have been conducted virtually, but we haven't had any issues. I have the opportunity to spend a lot of time with my colleagues on, virtual meetings, and I really feel like I'm part of the court, regardless of the fact that we're not in the same room.
I think that citizens of New Jersey are fortunate to have someone of her demeanor, her intellect, her humility in the most powerful judicial position in the state.
In the legal profession, as in many professions, there's certainly more work to be done in terms of diversity and inclusion, but I think we're, moving forward, and my appointment to the Supreme Court of New Jersey is a testament to that, because the law is always evolving, and that evolution certainly happens when people from different backgrounds and perspectives are able to lend their voices to the conversation.